Hey Wave, thank you all for joining me today. Now this is a different type of video. This is a special video with a collaboration with another K-pop YouTuber, DareDB, where we came up with the topic of how popular really is K-pop. You see tons of K-pop groups coming here to America to promote and do new things that you haven't seen K-pop acts do before. So that got us thinking and wanting to ask you guys, which filled out the form that helped us tremendously, about your opinion on K-pop, how you got into it, why you stayed, and how popular it is in your country. There was over 2,000 submissions. 2,000. You guys are crazy and super passionate about K-pop, and I love you guys for it. Now in this video, I'll be covering the West with the help of DareDB. But if you want to see the East version, you have to head over to DareDB's channel. Speaking of which, let's have DareDB introduce himself.
Hello everyone, my name is Derek, otherwise known as DareDB. Thank you Nathan for having me here for this special collaboration video. For my piece on the videos, I'm analyzing some of the survey results to understand how Western K-pop fans view K-pop and see what kind of scientific and sociological aspects align with their findings. Be sure to go over to my video on my channel to see how Asia compares. The link is in the description as well as the end of the video, and oh, do not forget to subscribe to me for more K-pop related content as well. Thank you so much for your support.
Let's start where it all began. K-pop's beginnings come from the 1990s. K-pop was technically a term not used until groups like H.O.T. and G.O.D. came around. Of course, those stemming from the iconic Sotaeji and Boys. Korea went insane for these new groups that brought Western style and music to the peninsula. At this time, I would say no one in the West had any idea what was happening in Korea unless you lived there or had family there. So how did music from Korea make it across the globe to people in the West? Let's fast forward to the early 2000s, where K-pop began to have a more international presence. What we like to call the second generation, or the golden age of K-pop, appealed to a more Western audience. Groups such as Big Bang, 21, Girls' Generation, TVXQ, Super Junior, Wonder Girls, Kara, 2PM, Shinee, the list goes on. And these groups seem to grow in popularity in the Western countries even if that wasn't their aim. Why? Well, majority of the responses we got from the survey we shared, K-pop fans became K-pop fans due to the ways of the internet. While Asia and the East first experience with K-pop is more personal, in the West, YouTube supercharged the spread of K-pop through the views generated from music videos. Now this is a direct correlation between K-pop and the West, but there are other ways people were first introduced to K-pop. The Hallyu wave is a term to describe the spread of Korean culture to the world. While K-pop is a huge part of that, so is Korean dramas. Korean TV shows, specifically dramas, have a big hand in people becoming aware of K-pop. With K-pop artists being casted and creating an OST or soundtrack for the new drama, people became curious when watching their new favorite shows. And again, this leads back to the internet. Those who were curious made a quick Google search. Moving on, this is for my weebs out there. Yes, even anime is a top reason people first heard K-pop. If you ever seen an anime, sure, you were there for the plot, but have you ever just fell in love with an anime opening song? Well, if you look back, you might even catch a K-pop group singing some of your favorite openings. Some K-pop groups and artists who promoted in Japan in the early 2000s would have their Japanese releases featured in anime. Even classic animes such as Inuyasha, One Piece, and Bleach, to name a few. Go look it up, you may surprise yourself. But what I found interesting is while the examples I mentioned already about how people found K-pop were as expected, there is a second, more popular reason why you yourself may have first heard about K-pop. And it is extremely simple, yet maybe the most powerful way. You heard it from a friend or a family member. These are the people you spend the most time with and hopefully trust, so their opinion holds a higher standard than a stranger. This kind of word of mouth is still very popular today. I've read responses to our surveys like, a friend showed me a music video, my sister would listen to it non-stop, and even some parents would listen to or play K-pop around the house. Now, like I said, the East has a more personal introduction to K-pop, but the West has a variety of reasons of how people first heard or got into K-pop. It's pretty incredible thinking about it. Now that I covered how Western people started their journey in K-pop, let's talk about why they stayed, and here to explain the reasons and sociology behind it is DareDB.
Before we get started in our survey results, please understand that we were only able to understand some of the Western consumers' mindsets based on large enough sample sizes that contributed to the survey. Therefore, do not expect every country from the West to be analyzed. So, let's look at this from a broader perspective. Now, as Nathan has already said, K-pop found its way to the West for the most part in the last decade, thanks to the internet and some capacity like YouTube. Some of the older K-pop fans attribute their discovery through anime that featured K-pop stars' OSTs on them. But when it comes down to it, most of the findings when it comes to the why they stayed into K-pop and what comes to mind, the responses from the West were all very similar. And for this analysis, the sociology theory, cultural distance theory, can be applied. It is a concept widely used to apply towards international business in terms of entry mode and performance. With K-pop and its attempts to enter the markets outside of Korea, such as the West, various concepts within cultural distance can be used. It can be argued that the cultural distance between Korea and Asia is shorter than it is between Korea and the West for a variety of factors like geographical location, cultural values, language, appearance, music industry, and so much more. So for this, let's look at how Western countries responded to our question, what word comes to mind when you think of K-pop? Amazingly, fans from US, UK, and Germany all responded to the question with the same exact top 5 words. Diverse, different, amazing, unique, and fun being the most common responses from all 3 countries. While in Canada, words like unique, diverse, worldwide, community, infectious, dynamic, and influential came to mind. The French K-pop fans wrote diverse, diversity, versatile, music, and different in their answers to the question. And despite its position in the Eastern Hemisphere, Australia is considered a Western country based on its cultural background and history for those who didn't know, and so I'll address Australian responses in this video. Diverse, accepting, and talent were among the most common responses from the fans there. Slightly more varied responses from all the countries, but overall gives us an understanding of how the Western countries perceive K-pop. And simply put, K-pop is quote-unquote different to Western fans. Contrasting more from the Eastern countries' responses that I discussed in my video, K-pop's fans in the West became exposed to the genre more recently. Thanks to the internet, fans all over the world have discovered what else is out there in terms of music and have found an industry that is not only technically draws from their own country's sound, but couples it with English hooks oftentimes, but also provides a fresh new take on music. K-pop has found the right formula to balance the two, so to speak. Fans don't have to understand what they're listening to, because when it comes down to it, the music has proven that there is no language barrier. Western countries, by and large, tend to be what's referred to as individualistic cultures. As implied, they exude individualistic tendencies and promote a society of differentiating yourself from others. Therefore, it can be argued that K-pop in general supports Western styles by showcasing members and creating a culture of standing a member as well as the group. K-pop these days, like BTS for example, also have lyrics that support being yourself, loving yourself. In a world constantly surrounded by negativity and political issues, and with mental health being at the forefront, and a world of social media that has, in some cases, exacerbated it, K-pop has become a place that serves as a haven for many Westerners. An idealistic image, something new and different, and one that brings about joy and happiness for many. An escape from what they're experiencing at home. This is how K-pop is viewed from the Western mindsets. And so be sure to check out how they compare to the Asian consumers in my video.
That is it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and congrats if you made it this long. I know it's a lot of information and a lot of history at once, and maybe you're tired of learning at this time of the day. But hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, please give it a like, and big shout out to, of course, DareDB for being on the channel and collaborating with me on this video. It was a lot of work, but I think it turned out pretty well. So please check out DareDB's channel. He's got tons of other K-pop videos and you'll maybe find something you'll like. And I suggest you watch his video on the East version because I did the West, he's doing the East. And let him know that you're there by saying the wave has arrived or something about the wave. Wave crashing, waves. And if you're new and if you're from DareDB's channel, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell for notifications, and maybe you'll find something you'll like. I have the What Happened series, which is my most popular one, and a lot of people seem to enjoy it, and you can check them out down below right now. And of course, big thanks to my patrons making these videos possible. You guys are the best. I am so blessed to have you guys that support me on Patreon. I didn't really have time to do a poll or a post to ask your guys' requests for the What Happened series for this Friday because I kind of already decided and I didn't really have the time to. Busy, sick, You know how it is. But if you didn't know, you can join Patreon to request for who's gonna be in the next episode of the What Happened series. Once we get enough people, I'm gonna do a legit poll where you guys can vote instead of just commenting on a post. And if you want to just support, head over to Patreon and you'll just be helping me out big time. Thank you all so much on Patreon again. But that's it for me. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the What Happened episode coming this Friday or Saturday if I'm late. Follow me on my socials to find out. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Annyeong.